Thank you for joining me today as I create this Waterfront card using Stampin' Up products and Stampin' Up's new Waterfront stamp set from the Occasions catalog. Now, I just became a demonstrator, so I don't have my full order of Stampin' Up products, so this paper and the tropical paper are not Stampin' Up, but I thought they fit really good with the design that I wanted to do for this card. I just cut a standard size piece of A2 pink cardstock, and then this floral tropical paper is die cut with a view watercolor pack. The watercolor paper is 5x4. Then I cut a piece of gold cardstock that is 4x3. And then the white cardstock that I will be stamping the waterfront image on is 3 3/4 by 2.5. I started off by stamping the mountaintop in Sahara sand. It is a nice brown, almost gray type color that fits perfectly for the mountains. And I just stamped that straight across the middle of the cardstock. Now I'm sort of limited on blocks, so I'll be taking blocks off on and off as I'm stamping the images. Also in the stamp set, there's a long piece and then sort of a zigzag piece. Now I'll be stamping 2 different colors. The long single piece, I will be using the color Pumpkin Pie. I'm just going to ink that up and stamp it right underneath the mountaintop. And then for the zigzag piece, I will be stamping that in Melon Mambo, a very beautiful pink color. I'll just stamp that right there. And then for the water, since I want it to look like a sunset, I will be using crushed curry. And I'm just going to stamp that right underneath the pink. This isn't the most flat surface, so it isn't coming out the way that it would normally come out if you were to stamp all the way on a flat surface. But it has a watercolor effect to it, so I'm not that worried about it. Then I'm going to use the soft suede for the little palm trees. I'm just going to stamp those off to the side, and then I'm going to flip them around so it has a different angle for the opposite side of palm trees. I'm just going to use a baby wipe and clean this up because I'm using the same block for the leaves of the palm trees. So I'm going to take this off, put the actual palm trees on it. Now I'm going to do this side first because I'm only going to ink up one side of the palm trees, because if I tried to set this right on it, the angles wouldn't line up. So I want it to actually look like a palm tree. And I did end up getting a little ink on the other palm tree, so I'm just going to take a little baby wipe and wipe that off. That way there's not extra green on there where I don't want it to be. Then I'm going to ink up both sides. And this side's going to line up perfectly. Now the last step, as far as stamping, is the sun, which I'm also going to use the pumpkin pie for. So I'm just going to ink up the sun a little bit, and just add it on there. Perfect. So I'm going to get these out of the way. And then I'm going to use Wink Estella. I'm just going to use the glitter clear. I'm going to put that on the sun so it looks nice and shimmery. And then I'm also going to add it onto the water so it actually looks like a sparkly sunset. Then I'm going to let that dry a little bit. I'm going to take my pretty image here. And I'm going to put some ribbon on it. So I'm going to cut it to size. And I tied it in the last card that I did, but I kind of want to make this one a bow. And then I love using this Scotch tape roller because it just, I end up crafting so much and use so much adhesive that if I use the smaller ones, I would end up going through so much of those little tiny tape runners. So I do use the Scotch to sort of make my tape last a little bit longer. And then I'm going to tie a little bow. Again, this is my first YouTube video. I am a new demonstrator as of February 1st, so bear with me a little bit while I get used to talking to the camera, because I am not the kind of person that just is good at talking, just talking on camera. And of course this bow isn't going to want to cooperate with me that easy, but we will get it to work. Maybe. Possibly. So if not, I might just do a little tie, because maybe that's why I did that in the first place, because I couldn't get this bow to work. That's probably the reason. So I'll just take the bow, and then I'll just run a little adhesive on there. Normally I would use some sort of glue dot, but this adhesive actually works pretty well. So then I'm going to adhere this because the Wink of Stella has probably dried. And I don't know if you can see it in the image, but it does have this really nice shine to it. And that Wink of Stella I use on almost every single one of my cards because it just has this really nice effect to it. Gives it just that little bit of extra sparkle. And if I can put sparkles on something, I'm going to. So then I just adhere that to the gold. That ended up not being super straight, but that's okay. It's card making. It's not going to be perfect every single time that you do it, and I don't want this video to run too long. So I'm just going to adhere that to the paper. The little bow is going to hang over a little bit. And then I'm going to take all of this and put it on the pink cardstock. And I just kind of eyeball it to make sure that it's nice and centered. And there you have it.